I'm amateur radio operator N5ZY, November 5 Zulu Yankee, and this is a Vibroplex Vibrokeyer. I've had this Vibrokeyer for about 6 months, and in just a minute I'll show you this key. I really enjoy logging contacts during contests because contests fill the bands with people from all over the world, and they all want to get as many contacts in their log as they can, so they're willing to work this Okie cowboy. I've been envious of the CW crowd, who have a lot more contests than we single sideband operators have to enjoy. Also, when I look at dxwatch.com, I see that there are a lot of interesting country codes on the CW portion of the band, but not necessarily on the single sideband portion of the band. In the fall, I decided I needed to give CW a try, so I read the book CW Geek's Guide to Having Fun with Morse Code by Kilo Bravo 6 November Uniform KB6NU, and that answered a lot of the questions that I had about a variety of keys and all the different terms. It's a very short book. I think I read it in one night. I really recommend it if you're wanting to get started. It also convinced me to start at 20 words per minute instead of 5 words per minute. I was fortunate enough to enroll in CW Ops Beginners Level 1 course, and in a mere 6 weeks I was on the air and made my first CW contact using this key. I've thought for many years that it was not possible for me to learn another language or to learn CW, but our advisor Steve, ZL2KE, told us that every day infants around the world speak their first word in some language, and within a few months they start picking up more and more words, and we're going to learn CW the same way. We all learned at least one language, and it's easy. It just takes the resolve and self-discipline to practice. So here's the Vibroplex keyer that I learned CW with. It's a nice key, but out of the box it needs a bit of adjusting. As I got better and more as I got better, I needed to adjust this key more and more. As our class advisor said, your hand should not look like a fish on the ground flopping around, and you should send code with just little movements of your fingers. So as we picked up more letters and started sending more, actually sending a word instead of just letters, I realized that the key needed some more fine-tuning. When I removed the Vibrokeyer from its box, the contacts on this were actually about 1 millimeter apart. You can see the contacts here. There's one there and one back here. They were about 1 millimeter apart, so that was the first adjustment that I had to do, and you do that using these 2 screws here. I also found rather quickly that the bar here could actually move up and down, not just left and right, and that needed to be tightened up as well. That bar is tightened up using this screw on the top and the screw in the same place on the bottom. Here's the bottom side where you can see the screw that adjusts the tension on the bar. The bar being this piece right here. This is what the bar pivots on. So by increasing the tension of this screw and the screw on the bottom, you increase the resistance in this joint, which makes this a little bit harder to move back and forth, but it also prevents it from moving up and down. So it should be able to move back and forth, and I've got it very, very narrow movement, so you can't really see it moving in this shot, but it is making contact. Instructions to properly adjust this key are on Vibroplex's website. So that allows this key to send dits and dahs and to not wiggle. Now you'll notice that the paddle piece here does wiggle up and down. That is because this joint right here, when they machined it, they machine it intentionally to be somewhat, I wouldn't say oval shaped, but a little oversized, and it's oversized on the top and the bottom, and that allows this to move just a little bit. Some people will appreciate that, and you know, they like a little bit of light touch feeling in their fingers, and some people will not appreciate that. So there it is. There is the Vibroplex Vibrokeyer. It's a nice little key. It's great to learn on. There you go. You can barely see those contacts moving, but they are moving. And this is extremely hard to do when you're looking at a video screen. But anyway, there you go. There's the key and a little bit of information on how to adjust the key. If you have one of these, or if you're thinking about buying one, it's a very economically priced key. It's great for starting out with, and since it's a single mono lever type device, the mistakes are harder to make, at least in my opinion. It's easier to learn with, it's easier to get started with, and it doesn't take a whole lot of effort. And again, you want your to be able to send dits and dahs with just minimal finger movement, and you don't want to be doing this kind of thing where it looks like a fish flopping around on the ground out of the water. Now, if you're wanting to start out CW with a high quality key, a high-end key, it's going to cost you a little bit, but in my opinion, this is a good one. This is a Bengali key, and it's also a mono key, just like this Vibroplex Vibrokeyer. It's just, you see how these paddles are connected together, so you can only send the dit or a dah. So it's also a simple key to use, and very, very little movement. So there you go. 73 N5ZY clear.